So I'm Delia DeCourcy with Lenovo, and I'm here at BETT UK 2024 in London. Thank you for joining us this morning. I'm a former educator of 20 plus years. I'm a teacher and administrator, professional development consultant, and I'm here today with Josh Lowe from Anaconda to talk about artificial intelligence. Josh, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Really glad to have you here. Tell us a little bit about Anaconda. What is it? What does it do? And EduBlocks, the company that you founded.
Yeah, so Anaconda is an AI and data science platform. So we make it really easy to develop projects using Python. So Python, for those that don't know, is a programming language. And the exciting thing about Python is two things: is that it's really easy to learn. It's a text-based programming language, but it's really easy to learn, and also it's the language of AI, so which is obviously the topic of today's conversation. So Anaconda also has a lot of education initiatives, so we're really passionate about upskilling people in AI and data science and Python as well. So EduBlocks, which is a project that I founded in 2016, is all about helping students learn how to code in Python, so making that really easy for students to learn. And that fits really well with Anaconda's mission of enabling people to develop and code with Python around the world.
So you founded EduBlocks in 2016,
Yes.
which is not really that long ago.
No.
And you're quite young, so I'm very curious. Tell me the story of how that came to be. What made you decide this was important, that you needed to start this company?
Yeah, so EduBlocks kind of came about because I saw a need for it when I was learning to code myself. So typically, especially here in the UK, in schools we start off with text-based programming, which is like this jigsaw puzzle piece thing where it's a friendly playground where you can just drag and drop stuff and learn the basic concepts of programming. And then if you want to, go a bit more advanced, then you go into text-based coding, which is essentially you type stuff in a text prompt and then it does stuff. But that's a very big jump from this like colorful jigsaw puzzle piece software to go into this very technical, you got a blank text prompt and you got to type stuff in and you don't really know
What you're doing.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I found a need for this thing in the middle that sits between block-based programming and text-based programming. So EduBlocks really sits in between the two. So it's not designed to replace, the popular block-based programming tools. It's really designed as a stepping stone between Scratch, which is the big block-based programming tool, and Python, which is the most popular text-based programming language for beginners. But it's also very advanced as well.
So there's actually hope for people like me to be able to learn how to code.
Well, anyone can learn how to
Anyone
code.
can.
It's very education focused, but it can be used by anyone.
Okay. Fantastic. So let's talk a little bit more about artificial intelligence. It is all that anyone can talk about here at BETT.
Right.
It is the topic of the day. And I want to know, what 3 adjectives would you use to describe the AI landscape, especially in education right now?
Sure. I think transformative is the first one I would use. I think it's going to massively transform the way that we learn, the way that we teach. I think evolving, probably the second one. Like, we're very much at the start of this new world of AI. Like we were talking before, AI has been around for 60 years maybe?
Yes.
Since the
Since 1956.
Right. So the word AI has been around for a very long time, but we're starting this new world of generative AI, which is the chat GPTs in the world, generative art, music, images, videos, all those sorts of things. And this is the worst it's ever going to get, right? We're already very impressed by what these AI models can do.
Yes.
But it's going to keep on changing and getting better. And the last one I would say is exciting, because I think a lot of people are scared about AI and what it means, especially with plagiarism. In the world of education, that's probably the biggest concern. But I don't think it's something to be scared about. I think it's something to be excited about what it can bring and the way it can enhance education.
I love your point about the AI we're using now is the least powerful, least developed AI that we'll ever have. I heard a researcher and Professor Ethan Malik, who's at University of Pennsylvania speak about that the other day on a podcast, and I thought, it made me think about the advent of the internet, which I remember because I was an adult at the time, and it was pretty janky when it first started. The websites were really ugly.
Yeah.
Didn't have great functionality, so we're already way far ahead of that sort of situation when it comes to AI. So to your point, though, about people's fears, especially in education, teachers' fears about introducing AI into the classroom, how can we introduce AI to students in a way so that they can learn about ethics and responsibility when it comes to AI use? What's your recommendation there?
Sure. So I think that AI, we're so used to using tools like ChatGPT and Copilot, which are really great in terms of AI consumption.
Yes.
But I think a really important teaching point to learn about ethics and the way that AI works is, to learn about how AI works. And it might seem very scary at first because AI seems like magic and this thing that only technical people can really understand.
Right.
But we can actually teach at a very high level of just learning about the building blocks and the pieces that sort of make up these AI tools. So if we teach about the way AI works, of being trained on massive amounts of data, and then talking about, where does that data come from? It needs to come from somewhere. There's a lot of concerns about, especially with artists and this new world of AI images, who owns the generations? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that data's got to come from somewhere. And I think we're going to see, this isn't really on the topic of education, but I think we're going to see a lot of legal battles and a lot of legal conversations about, who owns this stuff as it becomes more and more advanced. So
teachers can even have those kinds of conversations with students in the classroom, those debates over how should this, because there isn't that regulation yet.
Right.
So those are important conversations to be having and to build that awareness.
Yeah. So teaching about at a very basic and high level, how do large language models work? It can get very technical, but we can sort of describe that these are a thing and this is what is behind AI and these chatbots that we talk to, and how are those created?
Right.
There are very simple ways to talk about that, and I think that's a really interesting way to sort of describe to students the concerns and the ethics and how we need to be responsible about AI.
Great. So that's more the conceptual side of things. But what if I'm a teacher or even a student and if I'm a teacher, I want to bring more AI development into my classroom, or I'm a student and I want to get started building some of those skills? Talk to us about how EduBlocks can help with that and where to get started.
Sure. So I mentioned that Python is the programming language of AI.
Yes.
And the cool thing is that, especially here in the UK, we're already actually teaching Python in a lot of schools.
Really?
Yeah. So already 50%, 75% of the way there. And it's a really important skill to have. So we're actually already, teaching about, we might not know it, but we're already teaching about AI development and the building blocks to actually get there.
Yeah.
To be able to build our own AI applications. But with EduBlocks, the ethos has always been about, how can we teach people about Python? And with Python being so relevant in the AI space, we're really thinking about how can we empower students to get hands-on with AI development and building their own stuff with AI. So something that we actually previewed here at BETT to get teacher feedback and sort of figure out, where can this stuff go, is we developed an extension which is essentially a few blocks within EduBlocks which allow you to import an AI model and build your own application around it.
Wow.
So for example, you could build your own chatbot. It then passes a question to a large language model and then generate a response with just probably 10 blocks within EduBlocks. And that's really cool because it allows students to see end to end, I pass something to a model and then it generates a response. So actually seeing at a very basic level how these things are built.
Right.
So that's where we think this is going to go and the best way that we can help empower students with AI and really teach them about how it works.
And tell us a little bit about how EduBlocks, the curriculum, is designed. Are there different pathways? How do I know as a teacher when I go in there what my options are? Is it clear where to start?
Yeah, so on EduBlocks we have a free curriculum,
Okay.
which is a bunch of 6 lessons that teachers can download and modify to suit their own students.
Oh, wow.
And it teaches them from knowing block-based programming to making them proficient in text-based programming. But it does it in a really fun way through creating artwork and building your own projects. So it's all project-based. So students are hands-on from lesson 1 to lesson 6. So they're really learning about the fundamentals of Python and these really important coding concepts that are so crucial to if you want a career in software development or technology.
And you were explaining to me before that there is a real lack of skilled workers out there when it comes to software development. We need more software engineers.
Yes.
So that's a compelling reason for teachers to introduce this to their students as well. So I have a question for you, something I've been wondering about for a little while, and you might not know the answer, but why is Python called Python?
So I actually met the creator of Python. I was very lucky to meet him back in 2018. And I believe it was named after Monty Python.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That is interesting.
That is all I know.
Okay.
That is the origin.
And of course, Anaconda's name is a play on Python, right?
So, yes, the snake.
Yes.
Yep.
So I always assumed that it was related in some way to the idea, how snakes move, or I don't.
Yeah.
Interest, but Monty Python. Okay.
Well, the Python logo is 2 snakes.
Right. Oh, yeah.
But it's Monty Python. I believe he was a big fan of the show. So.
Is the creator of Python British?
No, I think he's actually. I think he's Dutch.
Oh.
So his name's Guido.
Okay.
Guido van Rossum. He's great to meet. I was very lucky to have a fairly long conversation about EduBlocks and the work that I do. So, yeah.
Oh, one other question. Age for EduBlocks and the curriculum. Is there a particular age range you recommend, or can we start this with students as young as, grade 2 or up through high school? What's the pocket there?
So, I believe it's more based on ability rather than age. So I've had kids who are 7 years old using it.
Great.
But we usually recommend ages 8 to 14.
Okay.
But that's not to say someone who is 70 years old can't use it. But that's just what we focus on.
Okay. So if teachers want to start using EduBlocks, where can they find the resources?
So edublocks.org is the best place to go.
Okay.
There's free resources on there. EduBlocks is free itself.
Great.
And we also have a teacher certification that teachers can take to learn about all the basics and how they need to develop it in their classroom. And that's probably the best place to start. So it's all on edublocks.org. Go check it out. And the cool thing is that EduBlocks is all based on teacher-student feedback. So everything that we develop is all based on that. And that's really important to us. So anything that teachers would like to, tell us about how they're using it in their own classrooms that can benefit them, we're very much open to hearing that feedback.
Oh, fantastic. I'm pretty excited about this product. So edublocks.org if you are interested in checking out these resources. Thank you so much for joining us today at BETT UK 2024.